barra de volume, exibição de Maria, aplique 420.
Beleza, galera, mais um vídeo aqui no canal. Hoje trazendo para vocês um evento da Frontier Unlock. Vou falar aqui sobre o quê? O Jurassic World Evolution e entre outras coisas. Vamos
12
ver
horas e 20, reproduzir atalho de teclado cabo.
tem para nós nesse evento de hoje. Hoje vai ser no dia 28. Lembrando, os jogos da Plus. Eu vou trazer aqui no comecinho já.
Pós-keyboard, reproduzir atalho
Antes
de
de trazer
teclado
o evento aqui.
play, iniciar janela, pesquisar
Vamos mostrar os jogos da Plus antes de
exibição de
começar.
tarefa, área, Maria Natália, aplica, espelhar pré-visual, nova área de
Porque os jogos da Plus
desktop,
que vai sair,
desktop,
claro que sim, na próxima semana.
desktop, Mic PS, micro, Instagram para acessar, banner marco, busca marco, interior sarterar medis PayPal, paypal.com, Play OK, Play OK, Plambuquilo Y, Play Zambi Games Online PUC, Ice Play Space Waves, S, Play Store, PlayStation Network Status, Play Store Apps Free Download App, PlayStation Direct, Don't Please, T, Home Video Game Console para acessar descrições ausentes de imagens, PlayStation carregamento, obtenha desconto no PlayStation https, Capital One Shopping resposta do HTT compras na Capital One. Banner marco, busca marco, digite sua pesquisa aqui, as sugestões PlayStation Blog, pesquisar documento em branco. PlayStation.blog. Carregando
aqui,
página. Traduz carregamento concluído.
Diablo.
Jogos mensais do PlayStation Plus para julho e um grande obrigado aos jogadores por 15 anos maravilhosos.
É um jogo bom, Diablo. Ok.
Vice-presidente Diablo 4, King of Fighters 15
King of
jogos
Fighters.
estão disponíveis para todos os membros quando o PlayStation Plus completa. Diablo 4, King of Fighters 15 jogos estão disponíveis para todos os membros. Jogos mensais do Play.
Porque eu não conhecia, mas Diablo 4 conheço e o King of Fighters também. Então, esses são jogos mensuais que chegam na próxima terça.
Desktop.
Ok?
Mac Control. Jogos mensais do Iniciar janela. Conta. Exibição. PS Remote Play. APS fechar. Aplicativo PlayStation. Aplicativo PlayStation. Play fechar. Aplicativo área de trabalho 2. Fechar. Selecionar Maria 426 Jurassic World Evolution 3 chat.
Esse evento
Pós K
da Frontier, que é um jogo maravilhoso. Que tem eles atrás do outro, mas o melhor que eles têm para mim é a Fórmula 1 Manager. Eu não joguei porque não dá para jogar por causa da acessibilidade. Então o ponto é complicado. Mas também no dia 26 saiu aqui no canal essa lista que eu acabei de mostrar do PlayStation Vlog. E com outros jogos incluídos também. Então, fiz isso para poder alargar um pouquinho mais a live do Frontier Unlock. E eu nunca faço mistureba aqui assim na live. Lembrando que esse dia 28, que é hoje, mas dia 29 temos outro. Não sei se hoje é 28 ou 29, eu não sei que dia é hoje. Tô com perdido aqui. Vamos ver se... Pois não, é porque o da... Tem um evento que é da Apple, foi bloqueado, porque esses otários da Apple não gostam de ser promovidos, né? Às vezes sai no dia 28 ou 26, vamos ver assim. Então, se sair esse aqui no dia 28, sai no dia 28. Sai no dia 29, sai no dia 29. Alguma coisa assim. Eu não olhei bem ali porque o último que eu gravei foi o dia 27, foi da Konami. Sendo depois da Konami pra mim, então. Lembrando vocês, galera, que o evento da Frontier é mensualmente. Então, até dezembro, teremos o evento mensual da Frontier. Qual edição é essa aqui? Não sei qual edição. Olha aqui em off. Já. Deixa eu ver aqui. Não tá saindo. Essa edição. Deixa eu ver aqui no meu canal. Não, animal, por isso que bem. É complicado isso aqui para mim escrever. Ah, tá escrito umas letras ali. Ah, tem barra aqui, ó. Guerra aqui. Vem aqui. Aqui. Espera assim. Apareceu aqui, vai assim, apareceu. Vamos ver aqui. O último que gravei saiu mês passado. Foi o capítulo, não olhei antes de cobrir a live, mas eu esqueci de olhar, né, quando saiu. Mas lembrando você de deixar o like, comentário e compartilhar o vídeo. Essa é a parte 5, então. É a parte 5, então.
Hello everybody, hello, hi, welcome to Unlocked. This is our June edition. I am Sam and I am joined on the couch today with the lovely Rich Hudson. Hiya Rich.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Bonito tá lá hoje, hein?
Do you want to give X at Home a little bit of an intro?
Sure.
Eu olhei o Instagram dos dois,
I am a video artist
só
here
botam
at
coisa de
PANTHER,
carro,
part
esses
of the
dois.
team that works on a lot of the trailers and screenshots that you might have seen in the past, and some of which you're going to see today. You might have seen me lurking around on Unlocked in the past, first
Não,
time.
o
as
outro cara não tá.
a non-speaking protagonist a few months ago. That was fun. And you'll see a lot of my work coming up today,
O
actually.
chefão não tá hoje. Estranho, que
So
milagre.
for some of our eagle-eyed and eagle-eared listeners, you guys will remember that we have often mentioned Rich Hudson and the parks that he's been putting together for the demos that we'll be doing for Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, we're going to be seeing more of that later on, and he's going to be helping me go through the show today because we have got loads to get through today, Rich. We are absolutely stacked. But firstly, we're going to be saying hello to the chat. Hello, everybody at home. How are you guys doing? I think we saw somebody was in there at 3
Somebody's
3
here
a.m.
at 3 a.m.
Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. That's amazing. It's lovely to see you there. But yeah, hello, everybody. It's nice to see you here. We're going to try and call some folks out again.
See Commander Alexa, Halo J, Hurricane Overlord.
Hello, everybody. Ignacio.
Welcome
hello
along,
there,
everyone.
guys. Lovely stuff. Yeah, wonderful to have you here as always. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
O chefão não tá hoje por quê?
Cool. Couple of bits of housekeeping before we get into the sections themselves. As always, we have got our Twitch drops that are going to be coming to the show today. All you need to do is watch for 20 minutes.
Então, patrão, minha filha.
Get your hands on these lovely ship kits or ship the paint jobs. Lovely stuff. We have got the Crate Mark II on screen here, as well as the Python.
Yes, this is the Shatter.
O patrão não tá hoje, que estranho.
Twitch.tv/frontier if you're not. Watch for 20 minutes and you can land one of these.
Yeah, they're absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful.
Eu não quero isso aí, não. Quero a box do
So like we're saying, we've got loads to get through today.
Magic Arena do Final Fantasy.
This month, in case you've been living under a dinosaur-shaped rock for the last couple of weeks, you might have heard that we announced Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Yes, finally.
Yeah,
finally.
Absolutely. And Sam caught up with 2 of the development team, and you'll hear from them very, very shortly. Then we're going to swing over to Planet Coaster 2, as our favourites Rich and Adam will be back on the sofa to talk more about Update 6 that we heard about a little bit last month.
Quem não
Planet
viu
Zoo fans, it's
os
DLC
updates
Day.
estão numerados do 1 até o 5.
Very exciting.
So we're going to see some more information about that. And of course, Commanders.
Vejam todos
It's
os
a
updates
very,
que
very
tem
exciting
do
day.
Planet
You're
Coaster.
going to hear a bit more about the
Todos os updates,
Panther
sim.
Mark
Veja
II.
todos os
Because our
vídeos
very
na
own
ordem,
Zach
para não
will be
perderem.
joining Curtis and Chris to give you a bit more information on the ship, as well as its release date.
Very exciting.
And we have a giveaway for you a bit later on, so
yes.
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, loads coming up, and yeah, do stay tuned for the giveaway as we'll be picking that up later
Até o
on.
patrão.
Awesome. But yes, to start the show off with, it is incredibly exciting for us to finally be able to start talking about Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Yeah.
So at the start of June, we were able to finally announce the game to the world. We saw our announce and gameplay trailer going out, and today I managed to catch up with some of our devs to go through the features that you guys would have started to see in those trailers as well. So yeah, we're going to be picking that up now and cutting to that. Check this out after our gameplay trailer.
Vamos ver. Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Welcome to the Dinosaur Integration Network, or DIN for short. Our organization brings groundbreaking, sustainable breeding programs to a global clientele of demanding site owners. We are taking paleocuration into exciting new territory. Where previous pioneers exclusively synthesized female dinosaurs, we are also creating males. These animals aren't assets to us, but the beginning of a new evolution. And do keep an eye on the young dinosaurs. They can inherit more than just appearances. Every site must be a perfect balance of security and spectacle. Protecting our guests is crucial.
Eu sei que eu não consegui colocar esse evento, galera, no mês de junho. Mas consegui.
De
manhã saio da Capcom. Perdão, do Kojima e depois da Capcom no dia seguinte. Então qual é a ordem dos eventos? Esse da Frontier, Kojima, Capcom e voltamos pro Destiny. E tem um do Little Nightmares se eu achar, né? Que eu não achei ainda. PlayStation, Xbox também tá ali, que eu vi. Opa. Tá carinho, minha filha.
Welcome, Sandy, Andy. Hello, you guys. Welcome to
Hello.
Unlocked. Lovely to see you. To start off with, can you just introduce yourselves to some of the lovely people at home who maybe are not familiar with yourselves?
Sure. So my name is Andy Fletcher. I'm the game director on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
And my name's Sandy Samarco, and I'm a principal designer on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Principal
Lovely stuff. Yeah, so nice to
desenhista.
have you guys here
wow.
today.
Great to be here.
Awesome, cool. So Jurassic World Evolution 3, what an incredible project. And you guys getting to work on the third installment of this title. That's super, super exciting. It's just gone out. It's been announced. People are starting to talk
Mas
about
gravaste
it. How does
essa
it feel now
parte?
that it's out there in the world?
Yeah, it's
Saiu
super
com
exciting
gripe
to be
ela.
revealing
A voz
the hard
está
work that
diferente do que
everyone's
quando
been
ela
doing here in
no
the
ao
studio
vivo.
for so long, and yeah, finally unveil everything that we've been planning for this third installment. And you know, the feedback's been really positive. We're
So
really
good.
excited
Yes,
to see
Yeah.
what everyone's saying about the game. It's a huge year for Jurassic in general, so yeah, it's a really exciting
Yeah,
time.
loads going on there. It's incredible. Yeah, super, super exciting. Awesome stuff. So yeah, we've got loads to talk about today. There's loads of new features coming to the game. It's looking absolutely brilliant. Those features, there's lots, like I say, for us to talk about, and they all sort of fall into a couple of different categories. We've got loads of new stuff with the dinosaurs. We've got lots of new creative stuff kind of coming in. So before we kind of get into the meat of it,
Amanhã vai ser um dia difícil para gravar. Vai estar chovendo aqui
The
também.
stars of the show, the dinosaurs. What can we kind of expect there?
A lot from the dinosaurs. Obviously now the big headline ticket is you can breed them, which means you get juvenile dinosaurs, but that comes with a lot
Eu
of
mostrei até no
support
vídeo
work,
que mostrei jogos da
male and
Plus, no dia
female, so
26.
we've got dimorphism, new behaviours, upgrades to the dinosaur brain. So a lot of cool stuff.
Inclusive
coming
mostrei os
that way.
jogos da Epic Games
Yeah,
que
there's so
saíram
much coming. It's
também
really
no
cool.
mesmo dia.
Lovely stuff. Then on the creative side, there's a whole host of new tools and ways to just kind of get creative in the game. Like, what can we expect there, Andy?
Yeah, there's a lot of detail to dive into on the creative side of things. You know, it's a real kind of foundational change for the game in many ways.
Yeah.
You know, I think the kinds of parks that people will be able to build and share this time around are going to be beyond anything
very,
we've
very cool.
seen before in the
Yes.
franchise. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about there.
Lovely stuff. Awesome. And then we've got a brand new campaign as well. There's lots there as well. So yeah, what can you tell us a little bit about that? What can we
Yeah,
expect?
bigger and better. We've got an epic new campaign that goes across the whole globe, and has a more open, less linear feel than previous campaigns. So yeah, lots to dive into there. We've got some returning characters that I think people are going to love, and this new structure I think is really going to appeal, going to make it feel more global, more cohesive, and
bigger,
more intricate. With the systems kind of working across the different levels.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, there's loads there. Awesome. Cool. All right. So now we've got a sense of what we're going to be chatting about. Let's get talking about everything because it's incredibly exciting. So starting off with the creative tools, we've got some new stuff for our creative players. There's modular building. Can you tell us a bit about that? What are we expecting with that? What can we do with it?
So modular buildings is basically, as far as Frontier is concerned, we're well known for putting a lot of effort into making sure you can create all sorts of amazing structures. And so we're bringing that to Jurassic World Evolution 3. So every building, actually under the hood, we comprised of hundreds, thousands, just stacks of individual components that you can get in there and you can tweak. So you can basically what you can create is up to you now. You're no longer restrained by set buildings.
Yeah.
You can go wild.
Get in, tinker, build out what you want. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can do your own spin on the buildings in the game. There's lots of different variations in there to start with, and it's the tools that you have with those pieces. You can intersect them, scale them, freely rotate and move them around, and it's beyond buildings as well. You can create combinations of scenery items and save them off as blueprints. And I think one of the big things to emphasize really is that we wanted the game to feel like a Jurassic World Evolution game. It was absolutely essential to us that this wasn't a barrier to entry. We wanted it to feel like a JWE game. So that's been really paramount in our minds. But when you scratch below the surface, you'll find an incredible array of
there's so much more stuff. But it's no harder to do than previous games. You can just plonk buildings down. They'll look beautiful. But you can make your own stuff, or you can take existing buildings and just tweak them however you want.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next question. So obviously, if I'm a creative player, brilliant. There's loads for me to play with. But if I want to just get into the management, I just want to sort of take care of my dinosaurs, do I need to kind of get into the modular buildings, or what kind of things do we have there?
Gravando Magic é complicado, gravar o Magic.
The game has loads of lovely buildings to use. So if you're not that way inclined, there are stacks of blueprints. But I think we're going a little bit further. When we talk about the blueprints is getting a significant upgrade for Jurassic World.
I mean, the big new frontier really is the integration of the Frontier Workshop. So, you know, this is a...
E o próximo evento da Frontier vai ser...
Players will be able to upload what they've created, you know, in terms of specific building types, general scenery, and also parks, whole parks that they've built. And other players will be able to download those creations and, you know, visit those parks and use those blueprints, use those creations in their own parks. So again, there's lots for players to kind of choose from in the game at launch, you know, across a variety of themes as well. We didn't really talk about the scenery themes. We've got classic Jurassic themes.
Yeah, there's so much there. Those are really cool.
We've got new themes inspired by the campaign. So there's thousands of pieces for people to go into, many blueprints. But you know, once you add that Frontier Workshop element, there's going to be more and more every time you come back. There'll be new creations, and that's what's really exciting, is that this game will
it's going to build a
appropriate
community.
to the title, evolve, you know, every you know, after launch, and we can't wait to see what people create.
Super integration as well. I think we're all really excited about it. You'll be able to get into the game and just see the creations of the players from the game itself.
Yeah, you don't have to exit your park to kind of go to a separate interface. So there is a separate. You can just go via the normal left-hand bar menu, and you'll be able to see and search for Frontier Workshop items within.
And just if you don't have artistic talent like me, you have to nab them and then pass them off as your own. It'll be fantastic.
Awesome. That's super exciting. Yeah, awesome stuff. So beyond just the modular, the building, there's obviously a lot more coming to the creative side of things as well. We've also got a whole host of new terrain tools, which are going to expand in just that variety of parks. So can you tell us a bit about those as well?
Yeah, so terrain looks beautiful, but now we've kind of taken off all of the latches so that you can build pretty much however you want. The terrain tools have had a massive upgrade. It's way more vertical. We've got these really cool brushes that do a lot of the heavy lifting artistically for you. You paint them down and they're filled with detail objects that our artists have carefully constructed. So even someone like me, it's very easy, very quickly to create something that's very, very pretty. With just one brush swiping here,
a couple of sweeps,
exactly, and then and terrain manipulation's the same. You can have really large formations basically that you can create very quickly. Like I say, verticality is much bigger. We've got ramp tools now, so point to point ramps, so that your gameplay is going to work with it as well. So it's not just
having those tools and seeing what they can do for parks, right? So you know, you've got ramp tools, you've got smooth tools, so you can now build parks across multiple levels and have your vehicles, guests, dinosaurs traverse them up to a point, and even beyond that point, you can now use terrain in another interesting way. So you can actually use terrain and large scenery items to enclose dinosaurs. So you know, creating more naturalistic enclosures. So you know, the tools in their own right are very powerful, but it's what's really exciting is what it means for the kind of parks that we're going to see this time around.
Awesome. So we just touched on the natural enclosures. Can you tell us a bit more about how can we build out those spaces, and how does that sort of work? You know?
Yeah, so you'll still need to look after your dinosaurs. You still need to make sure your guests can see dinosaurs, otherwise, you know, they won't spend their good money. And you need to make sure that your rangers can visit the dinosaurs and scan them, make sure their welfare is looked after and they're comfortable. So there will be elements of you need to ensure access to the dinosaurs through gates and things like that. But beyond that, we've loosened the restrictions on having to have fencing all the way around all the time of the dinosaurs.
So cool.
It's not always going to, you know, you don't have to have that feel to your parks anymore. You can make it look as if the, you know, the dinosaurs are in a kind of in a valley or in a sort of, you know, a kind of a rocky area. And again, it just adds to that sense of those dinosaurs feel more integrated with the natural world, which is kind of one of the themes of the campaign as well. It's about, you know, how in this point in the Jurassic timeline can we make it so that dinosaurs are integrated more naturally with the environment, with sites all around the globe.
Yeah, amazing. And I think you can also use water as well. Can we also use water to
water.
create?
Yeah, we can use water.
We've got
more water. For everyone. We've got deep water now, which I think people may have seen.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, some Spinosaurus enjoying that. But you can use that to enclose dinosaurs as well. Not all dinosaurs, obviously not all dinosaurs can swim. And not many can swim through deep water, so you can enclose them in water. You can create waterfalls now very easily with the terrain tools.
A couple of clicks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's we've taken our formidable knowledge that we've accrued over many years of Planet games, and we've just stuffed them into this. And it's come out really cool.
No, it's super exciting, and I love the fact that it really depends. It doesn't matter your skill level. You can go as deep as you want. You can go as detailed as you want, or if you want to, you can kind of keep it very simple. Like you say, a couple of clicks with the terrain tools, and you can build something really beautiful. You can put in your blueprints. It's just something for everyone, which is really cool. Awesome. So yes, loads coming on the creative side of things. But now let's start talking a little bit about, I think, what everyone is most excited about, the juveniles. They look absolutely amazing, absolutely adorable. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it was like bringing them to life?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a
lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a real new frontier for the game. So, it's quite a privilege actually to be bringing juvenile versions of these dinosaurs that everyone loves to the world for the first time. We've seen juveniles in the Jurassic movies, and we've taken inspiration from those, but there's a huge amount of dinosaur species that we've not seen juveniles for in the Jurassic movies. So it's been a real journey of working with our partners at Universal, with noted paleontologists, including Steve Brusate, who was a consultant on the movies as well, and concepting, iterating till we get these juveniles that as you say, they're just absolute wonderful to kind of watch, and it's really incredible to kind of bring those to players for the first time, and it's the juveniles are spectacular, but it's that family unit as well. That's really exciting.
Seeing them all together now.
It's the juvenile, the female, and now the male.
Yeah, well. It's a big overhaul in terms of what the dinosaurs need to do. That we've had to go into the inner workings of them to make sure that now they can function distinctly. We've got familial species and herd species and more solitary species. So the way that we had to do lots of changes to behaviours, make sure we have cool new juvenile specific behaviours, parents calling out to them following the parents, play chasing with each other, and then based on these differences, the different types of dinosaurs, you can get some, like I say, they're very familial, they'll only stick with mum and dad, and other ones that are more gregarious, possibly even to their own detriment, because they might end up following dinosaurs that aren't quite as happy being followed by them. But there's a giant big structure underneath juveniles to support it. It's they're great in their own right, but like Andy says, you've got males and females, and we have new social needs now. So they're not just a wonderful thing to look at. They add a new level of dynamism really to the game, a new level of challenge as to what you need to do to look after them.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah, 100%. And just touching on that, it's a whole new level of engagement.
Yeah.
What kind of things can we expect there? What do we need to sort of pay attention to?
Well, for example, juveniles might have different paleo needs to adults. If you've got a brachiosaur, with a great big long neck that normally feeds on high trees and leaves in trees, a juvenile brachiosaur, it's not quite as tall, might not be able to reach, so you need to make sure that you've got some ground leaves for it. And the same for some of the carnivores, some of the small carnivores. When the juveniles, they can't really take down live prey, so you need to make sure they've got meat feeders. And again, social needs, some juveniles are happier when there's a bunch of them together. Other ones, they need mum and dad around, and they're going to get distressed if they're not. So there's a whole bunch of these social dynamics going on that make basically differentiate the species. So each time you've got a new species that you want to breed, there's more things to consider, to look after. But it's worth it because they bring you loads of cash. Juveniles are inherently appealing. At the end of the day, you're running a theme park. You need to make some cold hard cash, and juveniles are one of the best ways to do that.
Right. Loads there. And you mentioned obviously the interactions and the depth that we're kind of going to experience there. There's a lot of work that's gone into the animations and those new interactions. And can you tell us a bit about those social interactions? They're going to interact with other juveniles, right? And also the adults, as we were saying?
Yes, they do. And they are Those interactions are amazing.
They are absolutely stunning.
And some of them are quite cool and dynamic. Like say, juvenile dinosaurs play chasing with each other. There's some real sweet touches depending on the species. And then other ones, if they're interacting with adults of the species or with their parents, if they're familial, there's just a wide breadth that and it gets across. They all feel different. It gets across the differences between them.
They really do. Yeah.
I mean, a whole new dinosaur. I mean, the adult dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution are kind of incredible in right. The amount of care and attention that goes into the animations, the modelling, everything that has all been applied to the juveniles and also the males as well. So it's really wonderful. It's a whole new layer, whole new layers even of dinosaurs that we're adding this time around, and they've had just as much care as attention as all the other dinosaurs that we've done in the past. So it really shines through in the game, I think.
We haven't even mentioned breeding.
No.
So
whole new gameplay loops there.
Exactly, there's new gameplay loops. You'll be able to breed, hopefully breed all good traits into your dinosaurs. Breed cosmetic colours, so you get kids that inherit the colours from their and patterns from their parents. So there's loads to do,
and you have to make sure you can breed them, right? So you have to work with the fertility, graphs of certain dinosaurs. So high prestige, high appeal dinosaurs
they can be a bit
might
finicky.
Be a little harder to breed. You can set up breeding programs to make that more likely, or to pick the particular dinosaurs to pass down their traits and their colours to the next generation.
Agosto vai ser maravilhoso mais ainda, porque temos muitos eventos.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you guys have obviously touched on it a bit now. There's breeding that's coming to the game. That's a big part of it, natural breeding. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? We've touched on a lot of things. A little bit more about
todas as seleções masculinas.
What the loops look like. Nests and a whole host of new things coming there as well.
Yeah, so you start off, obviously all dinosaurs in Jurassic World are female, but now with research we're able to unlock the male genome, start synthesizing males and females, looking after them, making sure they're happy. And when your dinosaurs are thriving, you'll be able to put down these new structures. Dinosaurs, they like to lay their eggs in safe places, so you can construct these kind of locations that they're drawn to. But different dinosaur species have different needs for nests. Some dinosaurs don't want their nests visible to guests, for example. They hide them away, and other ones, they like it if there are lots of nests together. Things like that. All dinosaurs are all different. And then once the conditions are right, as it were, the lights turn down, the music's playing, if the nest's in the right place and your dinosaurs are happy, then they can breed now. And you'll get eggs, and then after the juveniles have spent the time in the nest, they'll emerge. And so it's a whole new cycle. Some of the dinosaurs, with a bit of care and attention, you can actually turn them into little kind of breeding engines, so that you can get enough of a species in there that they can restock themselves over time. So again, that's a great way to make money without
I see you're a management player over here.
Well, it's part. And as Andy has alluded to, it's Jurassic, right? It wouldn't be a Jurassic game without the intervention of humans. So if you want specific traits to come through, or specific colours for offspring, for progeny of dinosaurs, you can run breeding programs. You're a science scientist, so it's very easy to do. It's very accessible. And then that increases the chance of particular dinosaurs breeding. So you can.
So you still have a hand in this.
So you can put a finger on the scales. Yeah, absolutely.
What's cool is also you can breed, down generations. So you can try and kind of get as far down a specific sort of generation as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. You can try and build like the perfect dinosaur with the colours that you want, and all the good traits that you want, and then that's great stock then for carrying on that line.
Awesome. So like we're saying, we've got males, we've got females, we've got the juveniles now. It's a whole family, and of course that means that there's loads to take care of. I'm imagining there's a lot more now to manage and to take care of. And I know we've sort of we've incorporated a whole host of new features there as well to make that a bit easier. ATVs, security cameras, that kind of thing. So
so there's
about that.
As you build out your parks, we want to give players new tools to manage, control the chaos that tends to happen when you breed dinosaurs.
Doesn't always work out as you plan.
It doesn't always work out perfectly. So, we have some new tools in the mix now. As you mentioned, we've got security cameras. So, this allows you to kind of, set up, security cameras at key points around your park, key strategic points where they might be able to spot evidence of a dinosaur breaking out and being a threat to guests.
Yep.
And if you link those to your response centers, to your response
capture teams, helicopters,
then you can actually have those capture teams come and automatically tranquilize the dinosaur that's escaped. So this is a really smart thing to do if you've got dangerous dinosaurs and you've got a lot of guests.
You don't want dinosaurs to think they don't mix. You lose lots of money.
And then in addition to that, we have a new maintenance team, which this is our maintenance team. They drive around these cool little ATVs, which is super fun to drive.
That's super fun.
Particularly in combination with the terrain tools we talked about earlier. We waste a lot of time playing with those.
Racetracks, maybe? I don't know.
So these guys now are in charge of repairing and resupplying. So in that example I just gave, if the dinosaur is broken out, and you put down a supply post that has the broken fence in range of an ATV team, they'll come and just repair the fence. So as you can see, you've got more abilities to kind of plan ahead of time and have your response teams kind of respond on their own volition. And it means that you can, particularly in bigger parks, you can be building out and doing something else.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off you.
Yeah, you don't
can't
have
your
to
eyes
respond
everywhere.
immediately. You don't have to kind of do everything manually if you don't want to.
If you set it up well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got them in stupid places, then
So rewards planning, rewards a bit of strategy.
Em agosto, 2 vídeos da Nath.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be incredibly exciting. Lovely stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of new features there. But moving over to the campaign now. The campaign, there's a lot for us to do.
No começo,
we're going to be sort of traveling the globe, basically. Can you tell us a bit about what we can expect with the campaign?
Yeah, for sure. So our narrative is set just after the events of Dominion, and that's a point in the Jurassic timeline where, dinosaurs are out across the globe.
They're out.
And that's a really fascinating place to be from a game perspective. Where we can
23.
Go venture across the globe and see some new locations and dinosaurs in locations we've maybe not seen before. So in our campaign, we're working for the Dinosaur Integration Network, which is an organisation set up by Cabot Finch, my favourite returning Cabot Finch.
Nice to see him back.
Yeah, and this is all about creating sites that to help dinosaurs integrate more kind of ethically, I guess, into the modern world. And so you will start out in North America, you start in some sites there, but as the campaign opens up, you'll unlock new sites across East Asia and in Europe as well. And as you open each one up, you'll be able to kind of go freely back to previous parks.
Yes. Use
dinosaurs and research technologies that you've unlocked to go back and improve those parks, unlock new areas in those parks. And so there's just a much broader kind of scope to it, and everything's kind of interlinked. And you can just jump around a lot more if you want to.
You can play at your pace, at your speed, at your focus, basically.
And we tried to make sure that each level doesn't just have is visually distinct in terms of the location, the lighting, but also it has its own particular goals. So you'll be working for clients, and each park has its own measure of success in terms of what counts for a 5-star park rating. So some clients might be more interested in the juveniles, and some might be more about marine reptiles. Some might not want any synthesis at all, and so there's lots of different some might be about tours and guest satisfaction. So they try to kind of push the variety of each level so that it really feels like a different challenge that you're going to.
Awesome. Yes, there's loads of things there as well. And obviously we're going to be visiting some new locations. We saw one of those in the gameplay trailer. Can you tell us a little bit about those as well?
Yeah, so we saw Japan very prominently in the gameplay trailer, which got a lot of people excited and brings in lots of cool new terrains, foliage visuals and scenery options as well. That's another thing that the campaign's allowed us to do, is to kind of inspire the scenery artists to create new building sets as well.
And they are beautiful. They are absolutely
it's awesome.
They've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and we saw a glimpse of Malta, I believe, which is one of our European locations. You've got kind of Mediterranean architecture in there. We'll also see some more Alpine-inspired architecture elsewhere. So I think we're going to reveal more locations as we near launch in October.
Yes, lots to talk about.
Each one has got its own flavour and its own feel and its own aesthetics.
Yeah, amazing. So we've been touching on just how good these levels look, and there's a good reason for part of that as well. In addition to all the lovely stuff that you can build and put together, there's a lot that's been changing under the hood as well. Some amazing changes there. So can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
I'm no expert, but I know that whatever they've done, the water is looking way better. We've got better skyboxes and skies in general. There have been improvements with global illumination, ray tracing, which I don't know what it means, but you get amazing results. It looks amazing. Hot air balloons, you can see the flames kind of coming through the canvas, which is just it's so cool. It's very, very realistic.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I mean, touching on the hot air balloons, actually, I mean, we haven't even kind of explored this. There's a whole host of new attractions coming as well. Different ways for you to interact with the dinosaurs. Can we touch on that a little bit, maybe?
You'll be able to see the dinosaurs from your perspective. So hot air balloon is one very prominent one. Again, a lot more verticality that it adds into the level, so it's really exciting to bring that and go over your enclosures. You'll also be able to get much closer to dinosaurs with the dinosaur encounter.
Yes, we saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, we saw a very small glimpse of it. Actually dinosaurs. So yeah, that's really exciting. Something we wanted to do for a long time. And you know, a lot of these things they obviously add the dynamism to the levels, but also that those creative tools that we've got allow you to kind of also dress them in your own way as well, and bed them into your park. So yeah. Great new attractions and great new aesthetics coming with them as well. I mean, paths. We didn't even mention paths as well, like the paths that go to these attractions as well. We've got new path styles. We've got natural paths now, so you can again make your kind of park facilities kind of look more embedded with the natural world.
More integrated, more organic.
More plausible,
Yeah, they're really, really beautiful. Yeah, super, super cool. Lovely stuff. But we've got more to say on attractions in the coming months. We can't say anything just yet, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it very, very soon. But yes, thank you so much, you guys. It's been lovely having you. Finally getting to be able to talk about Jurassic World Evolution 3 has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on the couch.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Great stuff. So a couple of you guys have been also asking about physical editions, and we're really excited to say that we will be bringing a physical edition to consoles. If you pop over to our website now, you'll be able to pre-order that. Speaking of pre-orders, for our digital release that's coming out on the 21st of October, if you pre-order that now, you will be able to get a hold of the Badlands set, which will be bringing iconic scenery pieces from the original Jurassic Park film to your park. So get in there and pre-order that now. So the sets are really, really cool. Hello again, everybody. Awesome. So yeah, loads of stuff coming up for Jurassic World Evolution 3.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Now, we're going to be turning our attention to Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, welcome back, you guys. Hello,
hey.
Rich and Ads.
We're back.
You guys are back. Back again.
We are back.
Awesome. So you guys are here to talk again about Update 6, which is going to be releasing very soon.
That's right. It's coming out on Monday, the 30th of June, so only a few days' time.
Coming out on Monday.
Really exciting.
Very, very exciting. Yeah, so we've got you guys back to chat about some of the features. They weren't quite ready for us to show them just yet. You're going to be taking us through what we're going to
be last month, which seems like yesterday. We showed the sort of intent
ou 30, então. No dia, se vai ser no 30, se no dia do update.
Being so close, we've got a live build. We're going to jump in and actually look at how we put a modular souvenir shop together, and also the on-ride photos as well.
Awesome. Lovely stuff. Let's jump in. Cool.
We're back in the park that I used in the last Unlocked. I say I used. The lovely Rich, who's now just sat over there.
You get to embarrass him.
Have to embarrass him. The incredible stuff that you guys are building that makes us look really good when we're sitting on the couch. We're using the park again. Thank you very much, Rich. This time, though, unlike last time where you had lovingly placed the items for sale, they're not there anymore, because I'm going to show you how you actually start to link these displays to the till. Or, if you're playing in US American, cash register, because we call them tills over here, I'm afraid, so it's the shop till. So I select the till here, and much like the restaurants that we had, we've got the linking ability now. So I can either add new displays, which we'll have a look at in a little while, or I can connect existing displays. So I use the connect tool, which gives me my multi-tool. I select the displays that are here, I confirm them, and then just like magic,
there you go.
The items are now on display.
That's so cool.
Ready for the guests to come
doing
along.
That piece by piece.
Last month. And I just come along and go. So now all those items you can see on display are on for sale as well.
Awesome.
And that's all based on the till catalogue, basically.
So in this tab, you can see all the items that are available. This is by category first of all, and then you can actually dive into them and see what sub parts of those items you can put for
So
display.
loads of control. You can be very specific what you want.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's also telling us here that there are a certain number of items that aren't on display because we can't fit them on our shelves. We've used all our shelving up now, so they're not for sale. I want them to be for sale. That's the intent on this tab, but they're not for sale because they're not on display. For example, the balloons aren't for sale, character balloons and the normal balloons. So let's remedy that. Let's add some new displays.
Let's get it in.
So just like the restaurants, I can click the Add New, which takes me to a filtered browser with the displays. I can look and check what the display can hold. These are the balloon displays, so clearly they can hold balloons. And then as I place them down, it will automatically, which is an actual term,
that's a technical term right there.
add the balloons on. So you can see I've got some of the fancy character foil balloons, and I've also got the sort of standard balloons as well. Again, because I've asked them to be sold at the till, as I put down displays, they'll just work through them and then start for them being displayed, and then the guests will go over to them if they want to and purchase one.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. But it's not just that way that you can tell what a display will sell. You can click on the display itself, and then you now have this
display section.
So I can choose other categories based on what that display can hold, and then
Chef Life Simulator.
And again, I can actually click through them and say I want to sell this type of mug on there.
Yeah. Go Chef Life Simulator.
To allow you, Rich, to create your wonderful displays that you did last time, you can turn everything off. It's still selling.
Mas para relaxar, né? Então temos que gravar as coisas com calma.
Or Rich, because you do all the hard work for me, and actually lay out the objects exactly how you want to. So I can place the puzzles exactly how I want them to. The guests will come along and purchase the puzzle, take it to the till. Take it to the till first, then purchase it. No shoplifting.
That's great, because then, for example, if you're building in a particular theme, you can make your gift shop specifically sell like Vikings.
Exactly,
Viking
yeah. And you can do that either by saying I only want to sell the mythology theme mugs or Viking mugs, which will give you the lovely pre-placed version, or turn it off and then place the ones as well, because all the things you see here will be available as scenery items as well.
Yeah,
which you can place on them, or you can use them, as we know our wonderful creators use objects in unbelievable
giant
ways.
mugs and giant
how quickly we're going to find a coaster wearing a hat.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I have to give a very quick shout out to our wonderful plushies. If my old man eyes can see at the bottom there. So we've got our Pegasus, or Peggy as she's known in the office, Queen Splash and King Coaster plushies as well.
Absolutely adorable, amazing.
I just love them.
We need all
very,
of them,
very much.
Please.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
We're also going to have some blueprints as well with some of these in, so there's some modular souvenir shop blueprints for our players to use as well.
Yeah. And another very sort of small detail, people will actually leave the shop with a bag as well, so it's kind of another little enhancement over sort of what happened in previous games with modular.
All those little details all add up. Yeah,
exactly.
It's lovely stuff. Lovely,
it's
lovely
really
stuff.
lovely to see it play out.
Then, so lurking in the corner, much like last time, we have another
What's
counter.
this? Oh,
is that a
can't do
till?
that this time,
is
can I?
it a
Everyone
cash
knows what it is.
register?
This is our on-ride photo kiosk, so it's a counter for that. So last time I was here, we talked about some of the concepts, some of the imagery of the intent of what we wanted this to be. I'm going to go through the process.
We can actually see it.
Going to see adding a on-ride photo camera to your coaster.
Let's have a look-see.
So here we have our pre-built coaster already made. We're going to add
one of the D-themed coasters that's coming in Update 6 as well.
Yep.
This is just one of two of them coming along.
Done your homework there?
Yeah, brushed up.
So if we click the coaster, there's a new tab that we've created called Add-ons. For appropriate coasters, we've moved the Ride Sync button into here. So when you load up Update 6 and you're looking for this button, it's now in this tab because it felt better to have it connected. It's just a nicer
It was in two different places depending on certain things before, so we've tried to unify it a little bit.
So coasters that can have on-ride photos or Ride Sync is a new tab. So you click our new ride photo camera. Okay. And during this flow, you can see as you're hovering over the coaster track some feedback on the EFN. This matters because it affects the quality of the photo.
Yes.
And as in real life, if you see a good photo, you're going to go buy that. So this is giving you that feedback.
I want my hands up.
Yeah.
I want that
terrified.
one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you do need to have
photos.
tested or opened your coaster to get this feedback. But if not, you can
That's a good
eyeball
point.
it.
You can get,
Yeah, you can eyeball it. So the quality of the photo, the guests will then buy more of them. So and
Okay.
the
So let's
dips,
find a good
dips
picture.
are always really good, and this is
it's the
best.
classic, isn't it? It's the classic first
Bottom
drop.
of the first drop,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
classic one. Or the beginning of the launch, you know, just at the end, that also,
Yeah.
again, is a real classic place to put them.
So you can then adjust this afterwards. So if you're not actually too happy with it here, you can move it up and down.
You can see it gets to be a bit of an average photo at the top.
And you can see the camera that we've created as well. Now
Yes.
it's placed on the track.
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love this because then if you're like me and you like going into all the details, go really hard and all of that, you have a camera you can build a support for, actually put it into
Make it
your
in-world.
into your coaster.
Yeah, we've gone with just the camera so that you guys have complete flexibility of how you want to build the framework for it, the structure for it.
Or you can just leave it as it is and just have the photos coming off the ride and you know, having a great time if you want to.
So now we've got
the
an
big
idea
reveal.
of where we want. We confirm. And now we will spawn a coaster. So there's an empty coaster for you to just get a fine-tuning of your camera framing.
Nice. Okay, so you can like previs. We can
Yeah.
check out what we want.
So you can adjust the you
This
can
is what
see per
the
car, so you
nightmares.
can see what the shot of each car will be. You can adjust the rotation using the axis controls. You can adjust the distance. So some of the coaster cars are quite narrow, some are quite wide. You get that.
Ah, só da cá o da pedestrian não tem
And
problema.
It's quite funny because I'm sat here sort of, you know, just show, but it's a massive thing. Like it's actual, you know, previewing what's really happening in the UI. It's a really big kind of like,
it was
it's a real achievement for the team behind this one.
Yeah,
they did a
amazing.
really good job of it.
They should
Incredible.
be very, very proud of
We
what's,
can't go
what's
into the
happened here.
technical details of how this is done, but it's been a
It's
very
just
complex.
wizardry.
It's just
It's
games are wizardry, but it was
Games
a
are
big,
magic, and
it
this
was-
this is magic for
it was,
sure.
it was a big challenge for the team, but they've done a cracking job having this
Yeah,
that picture-in-picture
amazing.
view as you're adjusting things.
And you can also check, you can sort of cycle through the different cars on the train as well, so you can really make sure
You
that
get to
all
see
your
all
Makes
of
it
it.
look good for all of
exactly,
them.
and
You guys have
cycle
thought of everything,
to and
hey?
from.
Tried.
Check
We
you guys
tried.
out.
We've tried
Yeah.
to.
Okay, so we're pretty
Awesome.
happy with this framing. We're going to confirm placement. So the camera's now on the coaster. It's going to take photos. So as the coaster goes
Yep.
past, you're going to see a lovely flash.
Speed up. We'll get a.
I'm not in audio, so it's not the official
No, I think
sound.
that was okay.
Oh,
That sounded.
I mean, that
camera-y.
sounded. I thought that was
Yeah.
from the game. I thought suddenly we had game audio coming through. Right here, I've got to get this right so that we see the
Yeah, let's see the.
lovely little attention to detail that
The
everyone
flasher.
comes to know for Planet Games.
Check
Flashes as it goes by, yeah, which looks quite spectacular at night as well. You get a nice little sort of
That's
light
very
blue
cool,
from
you
that as well.
guys.
Yeah.
So we've got a coaster and it has a camera and it's taking photos, but you can leave it just that. You can just have the nice visual of the camera going off. But the key part is visualizing it and seeing those photos. So back to our conveniently placed kiosk and TV screen in our exit. We have, this is just a standard TV screen. So you can choose any TV screen or billboard. You go to change image and we've added a new tab in this section specifically for ride photos. And you'll see you can do a drop down and filter these out for the coasters you've got.
Oh, there we go.
There's one per car for each, for a train, the cars on the train, because
Four cars
some
sat on it,
coasters have different ones. Or there's a mosaic at the top,
Mosaic.
which gives you that
You can see this
nice
whole spread.
2x2
Choose your options. Where do you look the most terrified? Yeah.
So as you, and as you,
I'm loving the crowd with their arms up. It always just makes me laugh when I see that.
and as you
Love
see,
it.
it's updating dynamically. So that roller coaster is over there in that park. It's still taking photos in this TV screen. Now it's connected to that coaster. We'll continue to put those photos onto this TV. So this is just a visual thing. So you can have multiple TVs, billboards connected to your coasters. But we
Decorate your park with it if you want to.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But as I mentioned about the quality of the photo, the guests want to buy it. So we need to make sure that the counters or the photo kiosks themselves, we have a shop model, is actually connected to the ride we want the guests to buy. And this is our exit for this coaster. So we connect it to it using the selection tool. And this, once we've opened it, this counter will be selling the photos to guests off that ride.
Gotcha. So we're
this-
linking that up now. We're making sure that it's going to speak to each other.
So now we've
Okay.
got a coaster with a camera, it's taking lovely photos. When they come
Yep.
off it, there's a counter for those photos. They're going to buy those photos because they're good quality. And there's a nice visual element
And they
with
go
the TV
home
screen
with
as
all
well.
their memories.
All their memories, exactly that.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
But you don't have to do the TV screen aspect. You could just connect the counter to the coaster, you don't even have to connect the counter to the coaster. If you just wanted the visual, there's a lot of flexibility.
Brilliant.
But there's also a prefab shop as
there
well.
Is, yeah, I was about to say that, Rich, absolutely. Again, trying to sort of give all options to all types of players or styles of players. You get the ability to just place this kiosk and then build as you have so wonderfully in the corner of this shop, which then makes it feel part of that modular souvenir shop. They don't have to be connected together. They are separate counters, but if you place them together like this, then you get that real sense of coming off the ride and then going through a gift shop, which is so lovely.
Yeah.
But then they're also, under the facilities blueprint, there'll be a shop that you can just connect to a ride and just sell through that way. So lots of options. There we go. We've got a family there,
picking
up and having a good time with their Splinter photo.
This is great.
Yeah, great placement. Lots of people want it.
100%.
Why wouldn't they? Look how attractive this shop is. Gosh.
It's a lovely shop. It's amazing.
And I do say so myself, that those photos are
It really makes everything just feel even more real and lifelike.
It really does.
It's so nice, you guys.
The times I've come through shops like this in real life.
Yeah. Rushing straight to the counter to make sure that your picture hasn't disappeared by the time you get there.
There was one shot while we were developing it where I got the guy from the car in front, right in front of my photo, and I'm like, that's happened so many times. You get photo bombed by the guy in front of you,
But that's why you can cycle through the train to make sure that you don't have people photo bombing your other shots.
Yeah. There's some really lovely moments there.
Lovely stuff. Awesome. Lovely stuff, you guys.
And that's on top of course, all the other things that we spoke about in the last Unlocked, where we've got the D-theme coaster.
Yeah, we've got 2 D-themed coasters, we have a new flat ride, we have 2 returning themes from the original Planet Coaster.
Yes, very, very exciting. We've got Pirate and Fairy Tale there, yes, as a reminder there.
So there's a big full update, a lot more information will be available in the changelog, which should be available tomorrow.
Yes.
So very exciting.
Awesome, so yeah, that is coming out on Monday. Keep that in mind, everybody. Very, very exciting stuff. But yeah, Rich, can you tell us a little bit about what maybe is going to be coming up for Planet Coaster 2 in future?
So this has been our 5th monthly update. We've done five months we've been here talking about our updates.
Loads of stuff. It's been brilliant.
Loads of stuff. It's been incredible. It's been incredible.
So what's going to happen is we're going to go away for a little while. Adam's going to work on his puns.
I've run out of puns, so I need a little moment just to build up a few more dad puns. So I'm going to get that on the go.
That makes sense.
And we're going to work on some exciting new content.
Brand new content.
And we'll be back on this couch. Do not worry. Me and Adam and these sofas are best friends now. We'll be back in the near future to talk about
awesome stuff. That's incredibly exciting. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, you guys.
Thank you for having us again.
Absolutely brilliant.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, and again, Monday, that's when the update is going to be coming out. You're going to be getting all these amazing things coming there, including the 2 returning themes, Pirate and Fairy Tale. And just to show it off a little bit more, we're going to be playing the teaser that you guys would have seen in last month's Unlocked. So yeah, check it out.
Eu nunca vi o programa sem aquele caneco piloto lá. Susto, meu Deus. O jogo tá para todas as plataformas, hein?
Very, very exciting stuff.
Lovely stuff.
Planet Coaster 2. Obviously, I'm excited.
I know, you are a super fan.
I am a super fan, yeah. Pirate and Fairy Tale coming back along with, especially on-ride photos. It's so, so good. So yeah, Monday the 30th when that comes out. But it's time to kick off our giveaway, and we've got a bunch of stuff that I've prepared earlier. Let's do these.
What have we got, Rich?
Flash ones first. We have
a
Razer Basilisk V3 gaming mouse. Very, very swish.
Nice.
Even swisher than that. So we have
a
Razer Black Widow.
I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Very, very posh. If you see a square-shirted Rich leaving the studio after the show, no, you didn't. We have an Elite Dangerous beanie hat, and also we have down here. We have an Elite Dangerous.
This is very nice. Yeah.
An Elite Dangerous mouse pad.
Check this out.
Hang on, there we go.
This looks very nice.
Look at that.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely stuff.
Try and get this out of the way. So, to enter, you're going to need to put a keyword, I'm going to roll this up while I do this, into the chat. And this is on Twitch only. So if you're not already on Twitch, twitch.tv/Frontier, get over there now so you can put this in the chat.
Yeah.
And geographical restrictions do apply, and please head to frontier.co.uk/legal for all the T's and C's and stuff like that.
Yes. But
so,
what do they need to do to win? What do we need to enter?
To win this, or to enter this giveaway, you need to put !dinosaur, all lowercase, into the chat.
In the chat.
!dinosaur, DINOSAUR, all in lowercase.
Yes.
And we will leave this open for a little bit, a couple of minutes. Yeah. So get that in the chat now on Twitch, twitch.tv/Frontier, if you want to enter this giveaway.
Lovely stuff. But yes, whilst we are waiting for you guys to get in there and hopefully win everything there, good luck to everybody. We're going to be having a look at Planet Zoo because we've also got some cool stuff coming there. What's going to be going on with Planet Zoo, Rich?
Planet Zoo, it was launch day for a DLC for Planet Zoo
Very
on PC
exciting.
This morning.
Yes.
The Asia Animal Pack released earlier today on PC, and it brings 7 brand new animals, including the honey badger, the Japanese raccoon dog, and the black buck.
Beautiful,
to the game.
Lovely
and
animals.
Yeah, they're stunning. 100 brand new scenery pieces as well, and a new campaign scenario.
Amazing.
Where Dominic Myers is back again, determined to breathe life into a new park, into an old park, sorry, in South Korea.
Very cool. Very
so
cool. Loads to do there.
While you guys are entering the giveaway, !dinosaur if you haven't already, let's take a look at the trailer.
Tá bem bonito. Eu não falar nada como no médico, como eu falei nos últimos meses.
So there you go.
It's so nice.
That is
Absolutely
the Asia
beautiful.
Animal Pack, and it's out right now
today
on Steam. So go and grab that if you'd like. And it is going to be coming to console alongside the America's Animal Pack on the 5th of August.
Yes, we've got some lovely key art on here, so you can have a look at that. Beautiful.
So Planet Zoo console players, you don't have to wait all that long to get your hands on these 2 packs together. Yes. And also released today was a free update, which includes something new and free for everyone. It's the Malabar Rose Butterfly.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yep, that's coming out today. That is a free update as
today.
Well.
As a free update for everybody.
Get hold of that.
Absolutely.
Lovely stuff. So we're going to be closing up the giveaway now. So no more entries, please. We're going to be announcing the winner of these great prizes shortly. If you are a winner, you will be receiving a Twitch Whisper, a DM from our official Frontier account. So look out for that. But yes, we have now closed the giveaway. So yes, good luck to everybody. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, I think we've left them hanging long enough.
Yes.
Elite players, commanders, it's your turn. So 2 unlocks ago, which is an official unit of measurement here at Frontier, we revealed the Panther Clipper Mark II. And this month, we're going to give you all of the juicy details. And for this, I'm going to hand over to Zach, who sat down with Chris and Curtis earlier this week.
Hello everybody, Zach here, brand manager on Elite Dangerous here at Frontier, and I'm joined by 2 special dev guests today to talk about everyone's favourite space game, Elite Dangerous. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Todo mundo Frontier
Hi, I'm Chris.
hoje.
I'm one of the designers on the game.
Chris?
I'm Chris, and I'm the art director on the game.
Lovely. So I think everybody knows what we're here to talk about today. We said at the end of the last show that we would talk about the Panther Clipper Mark II, which is what we're here to talk about. Chris very kindly, I believe 2 months ago now.
2 whole months since PitCon, and we revealed the Panther was coming.
Yeah, very nicely with the teaser image that you kindly put together at PitCon. And then, yes, we went into Unlocked, where you talked about the concepts and the sort of design ethos, I guess, like what you were thinking for the initial concept of the ship.
Very much so, and so those concept images, obviously we had those.
Digo patrão porque ele sempre estava à frente dos eventos.
Actually trying to get that into game and fulfill on those concept images, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it, as you'll see later.
Yes, I mean, this is one of the, if not the largest ship we've ever put into Elite Dangerous, at least from a player control point of view, right? And so that does actually translate to the work and effort that it is needed from your team.
Definitely, it's certainly a challenging ship to implement and to make good on all those things that we wanted to sell, the scale and the size of this ship, and we'll talk about some of that as we go through and see some of the images.
Sweet. All right, well, talking of images, I think without further ado, while we go through our sort of discussion points for you guys, let's show the Panther Clipper Mark II in the game for the very first time. So enjoy this chat as we go through. So I think to kick off, to bring everyone back up to speed, Curtis, what sort of ship is the Panther Clipper Mark II? For someone that's never maybe tuning in for the very first time to an Elite stream, maybe they've just picked up the game. What is the Panther Clipper Mark II?
Big trader.
It's a big trader, yes. It's exactly that.
Some might say the biggest trader.
The biggest trader?
And they would be correct.
Okay, well, we'll dive into the exact details of why that is the case later on. But Chris, I think it's fair to say this thing is going to be pretty good for those players that want to get from A to B.
I think definitely if you have some goods that you want to move around the galaxy at speed, this is the ship for you. So perfect if you are looking to supply goods to build a new station for colonization, for instance, and loads of other things where you've got to shift tonnage from one point in space to another.
Yeah. So I think, Curtis, knowing, when we released colonization, we saw all those cries for, we really want to trade all these materials. How hard was it knowing behind the scenes that you were working on this the whole time? You just wanted to tell everybody this is what it was.
It was so hard seeing all of the posts that were like, oh, if I just had, a couple of hundred more tons of haulage, I'd be good. And just being like, can't say anything.
Well, we're nearly there.
We are nearly there, yes.
So, okay, on trading then, how does the Panther Clipper Mark II compare to the other traders in the game right now?
So roughly speaking, it's got about 50% more capacity than our biggest traders. So quite the improvement compared to what players are used to. It's got a similar jump range when fully laden to those traders as well. So even though it's hauling a lot more, it's keeping up with the speed that you'd expect from like a Type 9 or something.
Yeah.
And it's also, compared to our dedicated traders, got a little bit more bite to it. You're carrying a lot of goods, so we wanted to make sure that you had something there to defend yourself.
Interesting. With. We'll touch on that a bit later on.
I'm sure we will.
And Chris, what do you think from a visual point of view? What was the process when you had to set this ship aside, I guess, from some of the other traders in the game?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of large trading ships, and in the game they have been for a while, and I think one of the things that they all share, which we have also implemented with the Panther, is form follows function. So they are large, they are bulky, they don't waste space. And so that tends to have the consequence that they have a slightly boxy appearance. Some of our other ships, though, were boxy and also quite angular and quite brutalist, and that was by intention. So with this one of the bits of thinking that we had was similar to the Mandalay, where we took an explorer ship, but we wanted to go for something that had a few more curves in there and a slightly more appealing look. Same lens really was used on the Panther, so that's why we went for Zorg and Peterson as a manufacturer. So we could have a few more elegant lines and bits of design in there, while still maintaining that big bulky look. It's just that little bit more refined in its detailing, and we think it's unique for that reason.
Yeah, and I think everyone watching right now, seeing the footage, will quite clearly be able to see that silhouette of the original Panther Clipper, right? But with, like you said, those enhancements that we've seen across all of the new ships that we've added to the game, right? But this one in particular, you can really see that the callback to the original
I think hopefully it will map onto that and remind people who remember that ship, whilst also providing a unique and exciting new ship for those who maybe haven't played the older games.
100%. All right then. So, what is Curtis? What would you say the USP of the ship is? I think with a lot of these new ships we're adding, we like to try and, we have a USP for each of them. What would you really say? You're speaking directly to the players right now. What is that USP of the ship?
So, there is the obvious one. It's got loads more cargo capacity. But our best traders always have the most cargo. So I'd say that probably with the Panther, the thing I like most about it anyway is I don't have to sacrifice on some of the sort of like more comfort modules that I'd like to take when trading.
Okay.
If I'm trading at the moment, I might go around in a stripped down Type 9 that has no shields and no booster and nothing, and sort of get as much cargo as I can out of it. Whereas in the Panther, if I want 1,000 tons of cargo and still want a shield and a couple of other modules, I can do it.
Okay, I mean that makes it a pretty exciting prospect just by itself, right? Chris, I mean from a visual point of view, is there anything on the ship itself? I mean, you guys are probably seeing it on the videos right now that you think sets it apart as in a sort of USP? Is it those thrusters on the side maybe, or something
There's
else?
a couple of things. Yeah, we always try to give each ship something unique, and in this case, it's definitely the rotating and pivoting engine pods, the 4 pods, that also in this ship's case serve as the ship's landing gear as well when it's come to rest. And that was a callback, as we discussed last time, to the way the original ship worked in the original Elite, and so we wanted to preserve that. And the team have done a really nice job of engineering that animation so that it feels nice and chunky and heavy on the side of the ship. And so, yeah, I think that's probably one of the most unique things. And then in terms of challenges, in terms of making this ship unique from a construction point of view, I think we hadn't quite realised until we got it in game that you, foolishly on our part, would be walking under this thing, on top of this thing.
Yes.
And that's a lot of real estate that we had to make sure held up from all of those angles. So we actually ended up taking the concepts, and we were finding there were places where we needed to add a little bit more detail on top of that, and doing that in a targeted way so that it didn't feel too cluttered, and it worked from a distance and it also worked close up. That was quite a challenge, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, chat, when you eventually get your hands on the Panther Clipper Mark II, make sure you get out and look around underneath, because Chris and the team spent a lot of time making sure that
find the one spot we forgot to detail.
Yeah, put that in the issue tracker, and then we'll have a look. All right then, so let's move on to the stuff that some of our players really like to know about Curtis. I know you have dreams or nightmares about these moments where we talk about hard points and things like that. So let's
here we go.
Here we go. Let's start with the hard points, Curtis. How many does the ship have?
So it does have 10.
Okay.
Which, if I'm remembering correctly, is the most of any ship in the game.
Okay.
And as for the configuration, you've got 4 small, 4 medium, and 2 large.
Right.
So a fair amount of firepower. You're not matching a Corvette or an Anaconda, but the Type 9 is sort of kind of blown out the water a bit by that.
Okay. And sorry, go on.
No. Please.
Is there anything you envision a player to put on those hard points in particular, or is it quite open to interpretation?
Well, you can put whatever you want on it. I might stay away from fixed weapons because it is a big ship, so it does have quite the wide turning circle. So I imagine most players put turrets on, but you could fit it with pretty much whatever you want, and it'll do some damage.
Yeah, Chris, how was it finding the spots for those hard points on this one? Was it easy? Was it hard?
Surprisingly,
a lot of space.
A little bit easier on this one, partly due to those factors. The fact that it's encouraged to use turrets, for instance, helps it a little bit, but definitely we wanted to make sure that there were centerline weapons as well. And to do all the tests that we do usually to get those hard points in really early in the process, and then Curtis and his team will test that out and make sure that they feed back to us on what's working and what isn't working.
Yeah.
So a little bit easier just in terms of the fact that there's more space, so you're not having to fit them into thin wings or anything like that. The bulk of it definitely helped, but it was the usual process and back and forth to refine where they actually ended up.
Perfect. All right then. So let's move on to optional internals.
Yep. So for this one, we've got 1 size 1, 1 size 2, size 4, for your booster or whatever. 2 size 5s, 3 size 6, 2 size 7, and 2 size 8.
Nice. Okay.
There's something special about those ones, but
we'll talk about those. Yes, you may have picked up on that chat. We'll talk about those just in a second. But first, let's just go over the core internals as well.
Yep. So again, it's a big ship, so it needs a lot of power, and it needs a basically big everything.
Yes.
So size 8 power plant, same for thrusters. Size 7 FSD. Life support and sensors are only a size 5 because it's traded, doesn't really need them as much. And then power distributor and fuel tank are also a size 7. So overall, a pretty beefy ship.
Yes, and I think that makes sense for the size of this one.
Yeah, and that also explains why it weighs so much.
Yes. All right, so the Panther Clipper Mark II, as you just sort of hinted at, is actually the first ship we've made in Elite Dangerous to introduce a new module slot recently. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so players that fly ships with the military slots will be somewhat familiar with what we've done here. And what the Panther has is it has 2 slots that are specifically designed to only take
até a Frontier vai estar na Gamescom, então vai ser complicado.
But in this case, instead of it being military gear, it is basically storage modules. So specifically, this will be cargo racks and fuel tanks. But along with this, and this is the bit that's more unique to this slot than to stuff like the military slot, is there are specific modules that will only fit in these slots. So only the Panther can have them.
Right.
And that is specifically a size 8 and a size 7 on the Panther. And there are 2 new modules, size 7 and 8, of a optimized cargo rack that has an increased capacity. So you can fit even more cargo on the ship.
Okay, are you willing to give us any numbers in terms of
so it's a 50% increase.
Yeah.
So you folks, I'm going to do the math. But it's a 50% increase on the size 7 and the size 8 standard cargo.
So it's going to transfer a lot, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so a new unique module is something that, we're excited to keep advancing with these ships and seeing what we can do with them. And this is, us again, testing those waters and seeing, as you look at all the sort of plethora of Elite Dangerous ships we have right now, and you're trying to pick out spaces where there is, opportunity to advance a certain area, right? And this kind of thing will help us do that, right?
Exactly. It gives us a lot more tools, or a lot of like different arrows in our quiver to make ships unique going forward, so that we can really make sure that we're not just like producing the same ship but with a slightly different skin.
Yeah. So I think on that, I guess, just to wrap all this up into one main question about trade, I think to summarize, Curtis, what makes this ship so good at trade? It is that capacity, right, as well as
it all comes down to how much it can carry and what you can do with the ship while carrying that amount. And it's it's well armed, it's well equipped, and it can haul as much as you want.
Perfect. All right. So obviously, as you mentioned earlier, this is a trade ship. Quite a lot of the time, if you are trading, you're probably going to come across some not so polite commanders who maybe want to destroy your ship. So how does the Panther Clipper fare in combat at the minute?
So as I'm sure people are guessing and looking at with the additional hard points and everything, it fares fairly well. Again, it's probably not gonna take out many pirates, especially not the ones that are coming properly well equipped, but I would be worried I would not casually go up to a Panther Clipper and start fighting it. I would prepare for that assault.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the point. It's a trader, it's not a combat vessel, but because of how much it's trading, it needs to be able to defend itself, and that's what we've tried to provide here.
Perfect. All right then. So as always, we tell our commanders this is a trade ship, this is a combat ship, and then you guys will go away and do something completely different with it. So we thought we'd give you just a tiny bit of a head start. Curtis, is there any other use cases for this ship that you can think of off the top of your head?
So I fully expect to see this thing exploring, even though it's not supposed to.
Yeah, of course.
And I expect it to dominate conflict zones, even though it's never done that in testing. But I think the thing I would expect players to find quite useful about it is, while it's going to be a bit awkward to maneuver and fit in for doing stuff like core mining, just by virtue of the fact that it's got a lot of hard points, a lot of power, and a lot of space, I could see this being a really good laser miner for players.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll know within a few weeks of release exactly what else the Panther Clipper is great at, which is good. All right, so another thing in the Panther Clipper Mark II is the new bridge. I think you alluded to it last time you were on the show. Just tell us a bit, I guess, Chris, first from your point of view, what was the visual sort of process and how did you think about that as you were going about creating it?
Yeah, so it's a big ship and it needed a big bridge, basically. So we felt that it was worth making something bespoke for this one. And we really wanted to evoke the look of the older ship where there's a strip of windows. And so we wanted that long kind of feel and that view out of the front. So we paid a lot of attention to where the seating was going to be placed on the ship. So we've got the main pilot's position in the center at the front, and then we've got the 3 other crew arrayed at the back, and there's some nice views that can be taken of the crew and nice compositions that if you're so minded we'll give you some good screenshots there as well. And from a visual point of view, we kind of wanted to just make it fit with the outside, so it's chunky and industrial, but not too chunky and industrial. There's a little bit of finesse to the way it's put together. But yeah, and those 4 seats, I think, will hopefully come in useful when the crew have to defend themselves.
Yeah, Curtis, do you want to expand a bit on that?
Yeah, so as you say, there's 4 seats if you include the pilot. So you've got turrets. And this will also be our first, in the line of new ships at least, ship with a fighter bay, which means you can have 2 of your fellow crew members in fires helping you fend off those nasty pirates after all of your glorious cargo.
Lovely. So there is basically plenty of, things to do for everyone on board.
Yep.
All right. So one of the last things we like to talk about every time when we talk about these new ships is the cosmetics and some of the ways that you can make the ship your own. So as always, we've got the standard version of the ship, and Chris, we've also got the stellar version this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the fun parts of designing the ships was once we're done with the main concepting, there's then a process where we then start to add bits for the ship kits and design all the different paint jobs and liveries for that. So in this case, obviously there'll be a range to come over time, but day one you'll be able to choose between the standard version and then the stellar version, which comes with a nice black and gold livery, which we think looks rather smart.
Yep.
And also a set of kit pieces, 6 I think, which you can then configure to change the shape of your hull to make the ship look the way you want it to look. And that's always a fun part of seeing which bits people choose and the different configurations that people can come up with and the different combos with the different paint jobs. So yeah, looking forward to seeing people play with that.
Very nice. And we are also working on a Owners Club decal as well, which is going to be available for commanders, and we'll give you some more information on that at a later date. One thing I did want to touch on the, I think it's on the Stellar Edition, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be on the base, the sort of, I don't know how to describe it, there is a part on the front of the ship that is very reminiscent of the original Panther Clipper, right, that has made its way.
I think the word you're looking for is prong.
Prong, okay.
So yeah, we as we've discussed, we were trying to harken back to the original design as much as possible, and the original design does have a prong that's asymmetrical. It's on one side of the ship, and we toyed with the idea of including that on the base. And I do like what it does to the ship, and it does add that little extra callback to the original one, but we decided to have that as an optional element, so you can choose whether or not you want to have that or any of the other kit pieces on your ship.
Perfect, makes sense. So obviously the Panther Clipper Mark II is a legendary ship. It's something that you guys have wanted for a long time, and I'm happy to say that it's going to be coming into Elite Dangerous in ARC's early access on the 22nd of July, and you actually won't have to wait too much longer for the Vanguard's update, which will be arriving in early August. So if you did want to find out more about the Vanguard's update, make sure to check out last month's Unlocked. But until then, I'll hand back to Sam and Rich in the studio.
There you go. Very exciting, hey?
It's a big boy, isn't it?
It's very, very big. Yeah. Lovely stuff, though. Awesome. Cool. So we've also got the winner of our giveaway. Congratulations to Commander Zim. Well done, well done, well done. Make sure to reach out and we can get you all of those cool things over to you. But yes, congratulations again. And yes, that about brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Just a reminder that if you have missed anything or you haven't seen the show, please check us out on YouTube. That we will be able to watch this later on. So yeah, thank you so much, you guys.
That is it from us, but we will be back on Wednesday the 30th of July at 6 o'clock UK time. So we will see you then.
Lovely stuff. See you guys then. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Clicável.
Jurassic World.
Galera, pessoal, dia 30 vai sair esse evento. Mas nós estamos aqui no dia 1º de agosto. Por quê? Porque eu vou tentar soltar nessa data, porque eu acho que é muito. Eu vou tentar programar o próximo evento para dia 31 de agosto, coisa assim. 31 ou 1º de agosto, sei. Alguma coisa assim. Então, para você, acho que vai ser 1º de agosto. Vamos lá, 1º de agosto. Então, fique ligado aqui no canal. 2 dias para dar programa para 1º de agosto para ficar mais fácil de organizar, né? Organizamos por aqui então. E nos vemos no próximo evento da Frontier. Perdão que eu tô falando meio travado a língua assim. Tô com sono.
Iniciar janela. Com OBS. Facebook. OBS 30.
E já não sei nem que eu tô falando. Foi muita besteira já. E lembrando, esses eventos estão salvos no YouTube. Na playlist Eventos 2025.
Encerrar o CPU. 0 hora e 0 minuto. 1 hora 25 minutos e 50.
Então, fiquem ligados. Aqui no canal temos todos os eventos, não só da Frontier, da PlayStation, da Xbox, tudo. Confira a playlist de eventos inteirinha, pra vocês verem. Nós vamos por aqui e nos vemos nos próximos vídeos. Valeu, falou e eu fui. Até o próximo vídeo.
Interromper transmissão.
Até amanhã com o evento do Kojima.